right, so what is going on in your life you want to share with the Bert Show? Is there ever a good time to lie to your kids? If this is the email that came from you, thank you for sending it to thebertshow.com. Mo's got it.
Hey there. So my wife, Amelia, and I got this awesome 6-year-old little dude, Ethan. You know how kids are at that age, right? Super curious about everything and always wanting to try out new stuff. It's cool to see him excited, but man, it's starting to take a toll on our wallets. He wants to go to all these cool places, like amusement parks and the zoo, and try a bunch of different hobbies, like soccer or martial arts. But Amelia, she's got this thing where she doesn't straight up tell him no. Instead, she comes up with these little white lies. Like, oops, like the amusement park is closed today. Or bummer, we've got plans that day, buddy. And when Ethan wanted to join the soccer team, she told him the sign-ups were already over. I get why she's doing it, but it kind of bothers me that she's constantly fibbing to him. I'd rather just be honest with the kid. Amelia says there's no harm in it and that it saves us from having that awkward conversation where we have to say no all the time. Or tell him that we can't afford to give him these experiences. I don't know, though. What's your take on this? Do you think it's better to let him down gently with these little lies? Or should we just come clean and tell him the truth? I mean, I get that we don't want to disappoint our little guy, but I also think it's important for him to learn that we can't always do everything he wants to do.
Bert, didn't your buddy tell his kid once that Chuck E. Cheese burnt down so they didn't have to go?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many lies you can tell.
You're driving by on like a random Wednesday.
Yeah.
What's the Chuck E. Cheese there?
There's no more Chuck E. Cheese.
Of all the lies. That's funny. It's just part of life, right? Plus, I'm kind of worried that if we keep up with the fibs, he might start catching on. And then we'll have a whole trust issue on our hands. On the other hand, Amelia's got a point. Maybe it's easier on everyone if we avoid those tough conversations. After all, we're not telling huge lies or anything, just small stuff to soften the blow. It's not like we're saying no to everything he wants to do. We're just trying to find a balance between keeping him happy and staying within our budget. So, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this. Should we keep up with the little white lies, or should we start being more honest with either?
All right, let's give our opinions and then try to have some fun with this if you want to call. What are the little white lies you're telling your kids, right, that they never find out about, right? And they're not major. 1-855-BERT show. Like, I think I told you I had a friend that didn't want to stay at at the circus the entire time. Mm-hmm. So she just told her toddler at intermission that the show was over, and they left. Because kid don't know any better, man.
No, that was a good show.
I mean, I think most parents at some point or another when your kids are young, the kids don't know when their actual birthday is, so you can move it around wherever you want, right?
Fudge it a day or two.
Fudge it a day or two. 1-855-BERT show. In this specific case, what do you do?
In this specific case, and I find it ironic that we were just talking about fiscal responsibility with kids not that long ago, and if you want your child to understand, like, that things cost money, like, I think doing it once, you know, just like, because you don't want to have the convo, and kids can ask why like a bajillion times. But if it's consistent, I do think you have a bigger issue on your hands, because I think you need to be honest with your kid.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think it'll become a parenting crutch for you to where, sure, maybe it's not a big deal at 6, but if you just get in the habit of doing this, one day you're going to wake up and your kid's going to be 12 and you're going to be telling them that their favorite Chuck E. Cheese is burned down or whatever. So I think it's better to be honest as soon as possible, because like if they find out, that kind of what's the word? Like a betrayal, if you will. Yeah. Kids never forget that.
Nope.
I still have things against my parents.
As much as I don't feel qualified to answer this, I'd like to think if I were a parent, I would feel as if a lie here and there is fine. Mm-hmm. But I think you would want to be consistency with the truth, because I mean, you would want your kid to understand that sometimes you're not gonna get your way. You're gonna hear a no, and that's just a part of life. Instead of always trying to soften the blow.
All right, Maggie, let's lighten it up. The little itty bitty lies you tell to your kids. No harm, no foul here.
So we're really honest with him. When we can't do things, we just can't do them, and we tell him no. But then there are just those times where you don't want to have to explain. And so sometimes on Sundays when he asks to go to the park, I tell him that the park is closed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That public park with the swings and the slide, it's closed on Sunday.
I think some have told their kids, too, like when the ice cream truck is playing music, that means it's out of ice cream.
That's a great line. That's pretty good.
Really good one right there.
They're always out.
Tommy.
It's probably a good thing that I'm not a parent, because I had this plan that if I had kids, I was going to take them to the Disney store and tell them that's Disney World. until they knew better.
I told you guys that my ex-wife's parents, when she was really, really young, nowhere close to driving, they used to tell her, because in Pennsylvania, you have these signs up on the side of the road that let you know that there's deer somewhere around here, so you got to drive carefully, right? So her parents told her that those deer crossing signs, the deer would look for those signs, and that's where they would cross the road. So she went her entire life until college, and she was driving in a car with 4 of her sorority sisters when she said something to the effect of, slow down, this is where the deer look to cross the road. And they're like, what are you freaking talking about?
Like it was a pedestrian walkway.
Yes.
That they only used.
Deers are looking for that.
The Bert Show.
So first, thanks for watching. Second, you like what you just watched? That just scratches the surface. Get the Bert Show on any podcast platform. We're so good.